Yoga means to reconnect, to harmonize the body, the mind with the true self. This is the most fundamental teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Who am I? The Gita explains, Dehinosmin yatha dehe komaram yovaram jara tatha deham tara praptir dhirastatra namuyate. That the body is always changing from childhood to youth to old age. And as far as the mind, I think we all know how much the mind can change. I read a statistic by a psychologist who said that the average human being has 60,000 separate thoughts every day. One of those changes just came to me. Who is the witness of the changing mind and the changing body? When we see a photograph of ourselves as a little baby, we say, this was me. But the body's very different and the mind is very different. What were we thinking about then? We were crying for the milk of our mother. When was the last time you cried for the milk of your mother? The mind is very different. The body is very different, but who is that constant witness? The Gita explains it as the Atma, the living force, the spiritual essence that gives us life, that sees through the eyes, tastes through the tongue, hears through the ears, thinks through the brain, and loves through the heart. And from the Gita's perspective, there's an explanation of the nature of that Atma. Najayate mriyate bhakadachin. Thank you so much. It is never born, and it can never die. It is eternal. Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, and by its own inherent nature, full of ecstatic joy. Mamaivam so jiva loge jiva bhuta sanatana. That the Atma, this living force within us, is a part of God, a part of the divine. Like a sun ray is a part of the sun. And that divinity is our greatest potential. It's our greatest joy, because its inherent nature is unselfish, unmotivated love. The Srimad Bhagavat declares, Savai pungshang paro dharmo yato bhaktira bhokshache ahoitaki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. That the supreme dharma, sometimes dharma is translated as religion, sometimes as occupation. The supreme dharma for all humanity is to awaken this love from within our heart and serve all living beings with that love. And that love must be without selfishness, without ego, and without interruption, to actually satisfy us. I remember long ago, I read a particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita that struck me so much to the very core of everything I was looking for and longing for and praying for. When I heard this verse, I thought, that's it. Vidyavanaya sampane brahmani gavihastini suni chaiva sopaki cha pandita samadarsha. What are the qualities, according to the Bhagavad Gita's perspective, of really a learned person who is situated in knowledge? not just how much data we can somehow or other store within our brain, but real knowledge is about our character, about our integrity. The Gita tells that a truly learned person sees every living being with equal vision. Whether one is male or female, or whether one is Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Jewish or Buddhist or Jain or Sikh or Zoroastrian or agnostic or atheist, whether one's rich or poor, from the east or from the west, whether one is a human or an elephant or a cow or a dog or a cat, wherever there is the presence of life, there is something divine, something sacred. To see that sacredness within ourselves, we are able to recognize it in all others. Long ago, I lived on the bank of the Ganges River, and there was an old man. He was about 85 years old. His name was Narayan Prasad. And at the time, I had just come out of my teens. I was just 20. And he was a devotee of Lord Rama, a Hindu, very, very religious, very learned also. And I would spend many hours with him every day. And each day at 11 o'clock in the morning, he took me to a place called the Magadha X-ray Clinic. And there, for at least an hour, we had a discussion with a man named Muhammad, who followed the Islamic faith. It was very interesting, because Muhammad would share his realizations of the Holy Quran, and Narayan Prasad would share his realizations and experiences of the Ramayana and the Bhagavad Gita. And little me, I would share my experiences of all the clutter of stuff that I had accumulated from the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and whatever else I was reading. But the incredible thing about this exchange, it wasn't about tolerating our differences, somehow or other not fighting about them. In my young, impressionable mind, I saw something between these two very saintly people in my eyes. They deeply appreciated each other's views. They felt that they were being enriched by each other's views. And one day when I was sitting alone with the Hindu, Narayan Prasad, on the bank of the river, I asked him a question. I said, in a country like India, where there is so much conflict between Hindus and Muslims, there's so much violence and communalism, how is it that the two of you could be best of friends? I'll never forget his reply. He said, if a dog has a master, the dog will recognize the master in whatever way the master dresses. One day, he may be in a tuxedo. Another day in blue jeans and t-shirt. Another day in a bathing suit. Another day he may be naked. But the dog recognizes the master in any dress. If we cannot recognize our beloved Lord, our source, our origin, the object of our deepest love, when he comes to different people, in different times, in different places, in different dresses, then we have so much to learn from the dog.